A new ASMR niche with no voiceover and no repetitive clichés is quietly pulling in millions of views. Unlike the short, predictable content people usually expect from this niche, things like cutting fruit or overused relaxing scenes such as sleeping on a pizza bed, these channels have chosen a completely different approach. They use Ghibli-style imagery to create calm, emotional scenarios inspired by everyday personal and family life. One successful example in this space is a channel called Mocal Music, which has achieved impressive results using exactly this type of content. And it's not the only one. Other channels have seen outstanding growth in a very short time, such as Ghibli Days, which managed to surpass 50,000 subscribers with just 14 videos, or Whispered Days, which started only 2 weeks ago and gained around 8,000 subscribers with 12 videos. In a moment, I'll show you what the structure of these videos looks like, but first, it's worth taking a look at their stats. These channels were created only a few months ago, yet as you can see, with a limited number of uploads, their total views have already passed 3 million. If you look more closely at the content, the numbers are genuinely striking. The most popular video on one of these channels has over 1 million views, and other channels have also reached millions of views in this short period. Honestly, the level of engagement and view counts these videos get is truly impressive. Because these videos are designed for relaxation, they usually have no voiceover at all, or only very minimal narration. The content mainly consists of a few Ghibli-style animated images that tell a simple, human, and relatable story, combined with subtle sound effects to keep the viewer engaged. The scenes themselves are very simple, something like a person washing dishes, but that simplicity becomes the foundation for telling real, emotionally grounded stories, such as missing one's childhood home on an autumn evening, or quietly watching the rain fall outside a window. These videos show the full reality of a journey. One person might be exhausted, reflecting on all the hardships they've endured, while another is calmly enjoying the rewards of their efforts. These fleeting details make the entire experience feel authentic and real. The atmosphere strongly resembles the emotional tone of Ghibli films, moments when, after enduring many difficulties, the character finally reaches their destination with a sense of peace and satisfaction. Watching these simple yet meaningful scenes conveys feelings of safety, calm, and even victory. These videos portray everyday life in a way that almost anyone can understand. Most of the time, there's very little sound, maybe just 1 or 2 words, but the storytelling relies mainly on the character's movements and ambient sound effects. Despite the simplicity, the approach works extremely well and has led to outstanding results for these channels. The important thing is that creating this type of video isn't particularly complicated either. I've already prepared prompts that simplify the entire process, from thematic prompts to story prompts and even image prompts, making it easy for anyone to produce similar content. As always, I'll place these prompts in the video description so you can easily use them. You can use a thematic prompt to generate different themes. All you need to do is fill in the blank with any number or value you like. For example, if you enter the number 10, ChatGPT will immediately suggest 10 attractive and usable topics for you. After choosing a theme, it's time to move on to the story. If you have a strong imagination, you can write the story yourself. But the most important point is that your story must clearly convey a sense of calm so the audience can emotionally connect with it. In my opinion, before you start, you should definitely watch a few anime or cartoons with a Ghibli-like atmosphere to get into the right mindset. Then simply copy the story prompt and paste it into ChatGPT, and replace each topic-related blank with your chosen theme. For example, I choose a snowy theme, paste it into the specified section, and press enter. At that moment, ChatGPT starts writing a detailed story that can effectively deliver all the desired calming emotions. In the next step, you need to move on to creating the images. To do this, just copy the image prompt and paste it into ChatGPT. At the beginning of this prompt, there's a designated section where you can specify how many images you want. For instance, I write create 30 prompts and press enter, and the AI begins generating image prompts for me. However, there is one very important point. Before generating all the scene images, you must first identify and separately create the story's characters. The prompt I've prepared usually analyzes this automatically. For example, in this story, we have a mother and a child. What you should do is generate images for these characters first. Once you have fixed characters, you can use them as references when creating the full scene images, which helps maintain visual and narrative consistency throughout the video. For generating images with a consistent character, Whisk is the best option. Although you can also use Nano Banana to further customize your images and create the character and style you prefer. Now we go into Whisk, copy and paste the prompt, set the image size to 16:9, which is the standard YouTube format, and click generate. Your character is created instantly. If the character has any issues or glitches, you can generate again a few times to get a better result. We repeat the same process for the second character. Once the characters are ready, we move on to generating the scene images. For example, the first scene is about a woman lying in her bed on a winter morning watching snow fall through the window. We copy the prompt, paste it into Whisk, and click generate. If you notice that instead of a woman, a young boy appears in the image, simply download your main character and upload it in the subject section. Then generate again, and you'll see the correct character appear in the scene. You can follow the same process to create the rest of the images while keeping the character consistent. Sometimes both characters may appear in a single scene. In that case, just add both characters to the subject section and generate again so they both appear in the image. Now, using one of the prompts, for example, prompt number 19, I want to point out an important detail. Sometimes during generation, the image may shift toward a more realistic style. To fix this, simply add the phrase Ghibli-style at the end of the prompt and generate again. As you can see, the image returns to the Ghibli-like style. Using this method, you can create fully customized images with consistent characters and your preferred visual style. Now that all your images are ready, it's time to animate them. To turn images into videos, I want to introduce two practical tools. The first tool is Degen AI. When you enter the platform for the first time, it gives you 300 free tokens for video creation, which refresh every 24 hours. After logging in, simply click on Create. As you can see, this tool supports a variety of models, including models like Sora and Veo, which are marked as free and can be used without payment. We select Veo, upload our desired image, and set the aspect ratio to 16:9, which is the standard for YouTube. At this point, you can either write a custom prompt in the prompt section or even reuse the same image prompt you created earlier as a video prompt because it works perfectly. Then we click Generate, and in less than a minute, the video is ready. As you can see, the video is generated in a professional way, complete with sound effects and background music. One important thing to note is that after generating twice, I personally hit a limitation. Even though it's labeled as free, you need to wait 24 hours before you can generate again. Still, my personal recommendation is Degen AI, because with very affordable subscriptions, you can access extremely powerful AI tools. I want to be clear that this is not an advertisement, just my personal experience. The second tool I want to introduce is Flow. You just need to search for it on Google and enter the website. Then click on New Project, set the model to frames to video, upload your image, and once again, use the same image prompt as your video prompt. Now click Generate, and about a minute later, your video is created with very high quality. You can download the video in an upscaled 1080p version to ensure a high quality final output. One final tip. Sometimes these tools automatically add background music, which isn't always ideal. If you don't want music but still want environmental sound effects, simply add a line at the end of your prompt specifying that there should be no background music and only ambient and object sounds. This way, your video will be generated without background music and only with environmental audio. Now it's time to put everything together. Before moving on to the editing stage, I've also included a dedicated thumbnail prompt inside the document file, which you can use to create thumbnails for your videos. You just need to give that prompt to ChatGPT so it generates a thumbnail prompt for you. And then you can use Leonardo AI to create a variety of attractive thumbnails for your videos. For editing, I use CapCut, but you can follow the exact same steps in Premiere or any other editing software. First, open CapCut, click on Create Project, and enter the workspace. Then from the import section, bring in all the video files you've created. Now start with the first video and place all the videos in order on the timeline. Honestly, this is really all you need to do. If you want, you can add transitions, but they're not mandatory. If you decide to use them, keep them simple and subtle. Something like black fade works perfectly. I usually set the transition duration to 1 second so the result looks more professional. One important point is that since our videos already have background music, you have a few options. You can mute them completely, leave them as they are, or lower the volume and add your own background music. Personally, I don't add extra music and prefer to keep the original audio of the videos, just slightly adjusting the volume. To make the lighting and colors more consistent across the videos, I go to the filter section and use the warm filter. In my opinion, it fits this type of content very well. And then I slightly customize its settings to get the best result. And that's it. Now you can export your final video in the highest quality. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and found this new niche interesting, and that you start your YouTube channel as soon as possible. If you liked the video, I'd really appreciate it if you like it, subscribe to the channel, and leave your comments and suggestions below. I'll see you soon with a new niche.